Bonjour à toutes et à tous.
Good
Ciao à tutti.
afternoon,
Je suis
everyone. I'm particularly
particulièrement
happy
heureux
to
de
be
pouvoir
working with you
travailler avec
today.
vous.
It's a
C'est un
partnership that
partenariat qui
counts a
compte
lot
beaucoup pour moi et
to me,
ensemble nous ferons
and
venir encore plus
it's
de
amazing
visiteurs
to
du
see
monde
even
entier.
more visitors from
Schweiz ist meine
everywhere.
Heimat,
Switzerland
aber
is
mein
my
liebste
country,
Reiseziel,
is my
obwohl ich schon
homeland,
fast
and
die
I
ganze Welt
enjoy
gesehen
traveling,
ist
but
es
every
einfach
time I
doch am
come back,
schönsten
I
und ich
find
brauche immer wieder
it the
Schweiz.
most beautiful
Ich
place
wünsche
of
Ihnen
all.
allen
I
einen
hope that you'll
erfolgreichen
have an
Ferientag
amazing
und hoffentlich bis
vacation
bald.
day
Macht's gut.
and
Tschüss zusammen.
wish you a pleasant time. What a welcoming
von unserer
message
Legende.
from our legend,
Geschätzte
dear
Kolleginnen,
colleagues from
Kollegen
the
vom
Swiss
Schweizer
tourism
Tourismus,
family.
herzlich willkommen
Welcome
am
to this
virtuellen
virtual
Schweizer
Swiss
Ferientag
Vacation Day
2021.
2021.
Leider nicht aus
Unfortunately, not on
wie wir das
site as
geplant
we had
hätten. An
planned
dieser
it
Stelle
in
herzliche Grüße
Arosa.
nach Arosa,
By the way,
Arosa
this
Tourismus
is
und
my
Pascal
time
Joni.
to send my
Aber
greetings
nicht
to
weniger
Arosa, but
motiviert
nevertheless, we're
hier
very
aus
much
dem
motivated to spend
Aufnahmestudio
that time
in
with you,
Zürich.
even though we
Chers
are
collègues,
in a
il
studio
ne
in
sert
Zurich.
à rien de se plaindre que nous ne
Ladies and
pourrons pas
gentlemen, we
nous
are
rencontrer.
really
Mais je vous
saddened by the
assure,
fact that we
vous
cannot
pouvez
meet,
attendre avec impatience
but
pendant
I am
les
sure
90
that we'll have a
minutes
highly interesting
Benvenuti,
program over the
cari
next
amici del
90
Ticino.
minutes for you.
Bello avervi qui. Nun, wir haben
Over
für
the
die
next
nächsten
90
90
minutes,
Minuten für
we
Sie ein
have prepared a
Power-Paket bereit.
power
Sie dürfen sich
package
darauf
for
freuen.
you.
Wir haben unsere
You can look forward to
Präsidentin
that.
Brigitte
Our
Gadian, wir haben
President,
den
Brigitte
Bundespräsidenten
Gadian,
Guy
we
Parmelin
have our
und
Federal
meine
Counsel
Kollegen
Guy
und Kollegen von der
Parmelin, and
Geschäftsleitung
all of my
unterstützen uns
colleagues
dabei.
from the
Wir hören gleich
management who are
Urs
going to
Eberhard,
support us.
der die
Urs
Geheimnisse der
Eberhard is
Märkte
going to be here with us and talk about the secrets of the market.
Letizia
Letizia Elia, she is responsible for the sustainability initiative, and Andre Hefting, who is going to talk to us about the power marketing package. Now, for the official welcoming act of the Swiss Vacation Day, I am going to pass the mic to our President, Brigitte Gadiant. Dear Swiss tourism family, much has been said, analyzed, and also rightly lamented and speculated about this pandemic, which was something new for all of us, for the whole world, and it has shaken us to the core. It seems that nothing is as we knew it before. It is then difficult to look ahead into the future, and yet this is what we want to do today, because we want to remain positive, we want to remain hopeful, we want Swiss tourism to emerge stronger and more sustainable from these difficult times, and that it be equipped for the future. In order to get there, we need to fulfill a few basic conditions. First of all, and that is the basis for everything, the epidemiological situation must be under control. How do we get that done? With extensive testing and with vaccination that covers as much of the country as possible. And both of these must be documented with a simple, secure and internationally accepted certificate. Switzerland has certainly held up well during the pandemic, but it mustn't sit back and relax. On the contrary, our country, authorities and population must now put all of their efforts into reversing the trend. And that means testing, and vaccinate. More can and more must be done. It is only then that the framework condition is given that the quarantine regulations can be lifted, that travel restrictions can be dropped, that restaurants and tourist attractions can be open again without restrictions, that events can be held. We at Switzerland Tourism, together with the entire industry, are doing everything we can to ensure that this basis can now be created as quickly as possible, and thanks to the greatest possible commitment from all actors. We have also learned throughout the last 15 months that the Swiss are loyal and faithful guests, and we are immensely grateful towards the Swiss people for that. But unfortunately, all the solidarity has not been enough to plug the huge holes. We have become even more aware of how important foreign guests are to us. Another framework condition for a successful comeback is therefore effective marketing activities. Switzerland Tourism has always maintained a presence in our 22 markets. It has cultivated relationships with our distribution partners and kept Switzerland in the minds of guests throughout the markets and positioned Switzerland as the destination of choice, as a safe, clean, healthy and trustworthy place for the time after the pandemic. This market presence will be one of the keys to our comeback. As soon as travelling will be again free of restrictions or largely free of restrictions, the battle for guests will also start with full force. Big destinations with almost immeasurable budgets will fight for the attention of guests, and this marketing battle is going to be loud. We need to be in this concert and be present with good messages, good and creative ideas, but also with volume, with effective marketing measures. And these will cost us something. It will cost money that is no longer available in the industry because it's been eaten up by the crisis. This is why we are in the process of presenting our recovery plan for 2021 and 22 and 23 to the federal government and fight for a second tranche of recovery funding. These much-needed marketing funds and relief payments are another necessary framework condition. Among the good news and creative ideas for the future, we can find Swisstainable. The sustainable development and the positioning of Switzerland as a tourism destination will, and especially after this pandemic, be a central condition for the success of our country on the international stage. Together, we can make Switzerland Swisstainable and thus become the most sustainable destination. But political framework conditions must be right. The revitalization of tourist city centres on Sunday throughout the extensive opening of Sunday sales is only one of them. But it belongs to the top of the political agenda because the cities and the city hotel industry are in urgent need of impulses. Such a simple measure can have a huge leverage effect. This is why we want to campaign for that as well. And thus, digitalization becomes a challenge for all of us. We have experienced it throughout the last weeks and months, but it also offers immense opportunities to us. The digital customer journey must be still improved. Direct digital communication with guests can be expanded as well. And the insights from the digital world also form the basis for further effective measures, such as sustainable guest management. Where can we find which guests and where can we direct them with the help of digital communication in real time? More guests will come to the country eventually, and we want to distribute them even better within the country, not least with the help of digitalization. Making full use of all the possibilities that digitalization offers us is another key framework condition. There is probably a whole range of framework conditions that need to be right for a successful tourism comeback. However, we do not want to simply present an endless wish list, but rather show where Switzerland tourism will make a conscious effort in the coming weeks, months and years. In short and in summary, these are the following. The epidemiological situation must be right. Testing and vaccinating as a priority. Travelling must be possible without restrictions. Switzerland must be actively present in the tourism target markets worldwide. Additional recovery funds must be made available for marketing. And Switzerland must be one of the most sustainable destinations in the world. The tourist city centres must be revitalized with Sunday sales. Guest management must be successful in real time, and the opportunities of digitalization must be seized throughout the world of tourism. If we manage to meet those framework conditions, then I foresee a rosy future for tourism in Switzerland. I am not kidding myself. The road is still long and hard. Probably longer and harder than we would have imagined or hoped. But we have learned the lessons. We have recognized and read the signs. We have made the preparations. And with all of you, we are more than ready to take this path now and create the framework conditions for a successful comeback. I am looking forward to setting off together with you and the entire team from Switzerland Tourism. Let's get started. Thank you. Thank you.
Was für ein Jahr, auch für uns. Man kann es kaum in Worte fassen. Aber diese
What a year.
Krise hat für
For
jeden
us
von
too,
uns
you
einen
can
ganz
hardly
speziellen Corona-Moment
describe it in
hervorgerufen.
words. But this
Ein einschneidender
crisis
Moment, in dem die Krise
has
sein
had
gruseliges
for
Gesicht
each of us a
gezeigt hat.
particular Corona
Ich meinerseits,
moment.
ich hatte
One
gleich drei
time
davon,
during which the
diesen Corona-Moment.
crisis showed
Der
its
erste
ugly face.
entstand schon ganz früh am
Scary
24.
face.
Januar
On my
2020,
side, I had three of
als
these
mich
Corona
unser Leiter Asia
moments.
Pacific
The first
angerufen
one
hat.
happened
erzählte,
very
was von einer
early,
Pandemie in China
24th of January
etwas ungläubig zwar
2020,
organisiert,
when
wie wir
our
sofort
manager for
Taskforce haben die
Pacific
Sitzung
called
abgehalten,
us
aber
and
glaubte
talked
eigentlich,
about a
dass es
pandemic in
nicht
China.
Leck,
We
lag
were
ich
not
falsch mit meiner
really
Annahme.
convinced then, but we had organized a
zweite
task
Corona-Moment
force, even though we had not
traf mich
exactly
mit
believed
diesem
in it. Oh my
unverhofften,
God, how
unsäglichen
wrong
und
I was.
unglaublichen zweiten Lockdown.
Second major
Der den
shocking
ersten
moment
Lockdown noch ein
happened
kämpferischer Geist dominierte,
during this
unterlag
second
diesen im zweiten
unbelievable
einer
lockdown.
launischen, schwerfälligen
If
Lethargie,
during the first
die leider
lockdown
immer noch bis heute
we
anhält.
had
Mein dritter Corona-Moment war
a situation and a lethargy which unfortunately continues up to today. And my third shock came when I went to visit one of our major tourism attractions in Switzerland when the manager of the facility told me that they had more workers than tourists there. But it's exactly those employees that were extremely friendly, optimistic and helpful, and that's the spirit that we need within Switzerland tourism. The tourism branch has brought the proof that they are able to face even historically unseen crises. Now, when we have those many questions, when is it over? When can we continue? We don't know. But one thing I know for sure, the tourism field, the branch, Switzerland Tourism has shown creativity and a strength which I find unbelievable. We mustn't forget the lights on the Matterhorn, the 1,000 weeks of holidays at the Engelberg for health workers. Switzerland Tourism has launched the action Dream Now, Travel Later, and we talked to the hearts of people. We were not able to travel, but we were able to dream. And Zurich turned into Istanbul and Ibiza, and more than 4,000 different companies in Switzerland equipped themselves with the top of the world in terms of safety measures. We had launched a voucher action in Geneva, which has helped bring back guests into the hotels and restaurants, and the center, the tourism center in Tessin, had welcomed for free the health workers of Zurich. But we mustn't congratulate ourselves too early, my dear colleagues. The state and the government has done a much better job than what we like to think and believe. Sometimes things could have kicked off faster, but let's look at this graphic here. On the global PowerSoft index, we see that Switzerland is at the very top, and that's where we must remain. When we look at our foreign competitors, we can state here that the measures in Switzerland, and despite of the closure of restaurants, and events that were cancelled, we were doing much better than our neighbors, for instance. Our hotels have remained open, and the restaurants in the hotels have done so as well. As almost the only country in Europe, our ski resorts were open and mobility was always insured. All of these ensure excellent conditions in terms of collaboration with the federation and the state. And at the same time, this year we are going to be the tourism host. If these are not good omens, I don't know. And that's one of the reasons why I'm particularly happy to welcome with us today the head of the Federal Department of Economic Affairs, our Federal Governor Guy Parmelin. Dear Mr. President, ladies and gentlemen, thank you very much for inviting me to this year's Switzerland Tourism Vacation Day. The Vacation Day is the showcase of Swiss tourism. It's a knowledge platform and a networking event. At the same time, it is the biggest get-together of Swiss tourism, and hence also a kind of family celebration. Of course, we would all like to have a real party again. We would all more than deserve it. And we would all like to meet again together locally. For instance, today, as originally planned, at the beautiful city of Arosa. It would do us so much good. Unfortunately, these wishes remain denied. Even more than a year later, after the outbreak of the corona pandemic, the virus keeps us on our toes and dictates our daily lives. And hardly anyone knows this better than you, my dear esteemed tourism professionals. Hardly any other sector has been affected by the corona pandemic as much as tourism. The available figures for 2020 speak for themselves. Measured in terms of hotel room nights, tourism demand declined by 40% overall compared to the previous year. In the cities, the decline is above average. Here, we are talking about a widespread decline of over 60%. The crisis in tourism continued throughout the winter season 2020 and 2021. In January and February 2021, hotel room nights themselves declined compared to the previous year by almost 50%. In the ski resorts, the drop in demand last winter compared to the 5-year average is likely to have been around 50%, according to our estimates. These are impressive figures, characteristics of a historic crisis. The Federal Council and myself, as President of the Confederation and head of the Department of Economy, Education and Research, are constantly measuring the exceptional situation we are experiencing in Swiss tourism. However, we are constantly analyzing the situation and we have regular contacts with tourism stakeholders. It is also tomorrow, Wednesday, that we are going to hold the next and already the 5th meeting on tourism under my leadership. The companies and enterprises in the tourism sectors have not been left on the road. The Federal Council has also taken immediate and stringent measures at their end. I will name 3 that seem to me to be the most significant in terms of the extent of the support we have given them. First, short-time allowance. The expenditure for the hospitality industry for the months March 2020 to January 2021 amounted to a total of 1.8 billion Swiss francs. This equals about 18% of the total expenditure for short-time compensation in the mentioned period. Secondly, COVID loans. A total of around 16,400 COVID loans amounting to around 1.6 billion Swiss francs were granted to the hotel and restaurant industry. 0.5 billion Swiss francs to the hotel industry, 1.1 billion Swiss francs to the restaurant industry. This equals to 9% 8.6% of the total credit volume. Thirdly, the hardship measures. They were extensively discussed by the Parliament in the spring session when the COVID-19 Act was being debated. In the meantime, the Federal Council has revised the correspondent ordinance and brought it into force on 1st of April 2021. According to the reporting figures of the cantons, until the end of March 2021, around 42% of these funds have benefited the gastronomy sector and around 12% the accommodation hotel sector. This once again underscores the pronounced impact of tourism. In addition, there are tourism-specific measures. The recovery plan of Switzerland tourism is at the very forefront. Within the framework of this plan, and during 2020 and 2021, an additional 40 million Swiss francs will be made available. These funds will be used for additional marketing activities and to relieve the financial burden on Switzerland tourism partners. Switzerland Tourism has launched a groundbreaking initiative as part of the recovery plan. I would like to mention some of them here. For example, the sustainable strategy and the I Need Switzerland campaign. The measures taken by the Swiss Association for Hotel Credit are also noteworthy. Last year, there was a vast majority of amortizations and several million Swiss francs were granted for retroactive investments that must be compensated. Similar procedures were applied for this current year. The hotel coaching program, which was recently launched in cooperation with Hotellerie Suisse, is also encouraging. Thanks to this program, accommodation businesses are given the opportunity to analyze their own potential together with an external coach. This enables the businesses to recognize optimizations and make strategic decisions in order to move on to effective adjustments. This pandemic has been extremely challenging for all of us, and it's still a challenge. However, it seems to me that we're on the right track and that we will soon be out of this crisis. There are still major uncertainties for the coming year, but a progressive return to normality is already perceptible. I am happy to see that in spite of these conditions, people have never lost their desire for traveling. It's rather the opposite. I am confident that Switzerland is going to continue to be an internationally prized destination, a dream destination. Despite the vulnerabilities that every crisis reveals, I am confident that Swiss tourism is going to come out stronger as a whole. My department takes resilience very much to heart. It is currently working with great vigor on the future strategic foundations of the Confederation's tourism policy, so that domestic tourism becomes even more resilient and booming. Towards the end of the year, the Federal Council will take decisions. To this end, I intend to apply to the Federal Council and to Parliament for additional funding for Switzerland tourism. Among other things, in order to continue Switzerland tourism's recovery plan from 2022 on. Switzerland tourism and the SECO will work hand in hand in this regard. Let's be courageous, seize opportunities and chances, and look forward with confidence. I wish you a wonderful and successful Vacation Day 2021. These are amazing news.
These are excellent news. Despite all the uncertainties, we would like to look into the crystal ball. But I have to make a disclaimer, because nobody knows exactly what will come. But Switzerland Tourism is very close to the markets with our subsidiaries, close to the figures with our market research, close to the institutions and to science, and close to the international events through our global networks. And all this permits us to make a forecast of tourism industry. Let us start with the most important affirmation. People can hardly wait to travel again. After months of restrictions, there is such a pressure that exists that could erupt all of a sudden, and our subsidiaries and markets feel the impatience at the two operators and the final consumers. Now, for instance, if you look at the airlines in the middle of March, within a few days they had to increase their flight capacities to Spain and Portugal because these countries were deleted from the lists of risk countries in Germany and Switzerland. Now, leisure travel will also come back, we are sure, but when is not clear. But the behavior will also change as far as traveling is concerned. For instance, the present short-term planning will certainly stay, also from abroad. People will reserve and change reservations on short notice, and they expect accommodating cancellation conditions. Therefore, we have to be fast and flexible. Some of us have to become it and get used to it. And the virus will certainly not disappear with vaccines and testing. The restriction and control will be with us for some time. Just think of the prohibition to carry liquids on the planes, even decades after the terrorist attacks. This is still the case. International traveling is very complicated and cumbersome. In particular, this year, the year 2021, will become the year of advanced travelers. That is the ones who know their way. That is travelers who are vaccinated or immune against these tests, and those who do not hesitate to accept all these difficulties. Before Corona, the motto was more often but shorter. This could now change in our favor, 180 degrees. Less often but staying longer seems to be a logical consequence. In leisure travel and in business tourism, longer stays are much more relaxing and efficient instead of going back and forth. And this new reason will certainly fuel the new tendency to sustainability. Another behavior is the claim for more space, which will certainly be around for some time. It will take a long time until you will be able to meet in large gatherings of people. And the question whether you will be able to shake hands or hug again when you welcome people is a question that has to be solved by social scientists. But the wish for distance and space is something that concerns us in the tourist industry. The demand for distances between the tables, for bigger seminar rooms, less people in the cable cars, and dosed entrances for attractions will increase. Since in our daily life, you travel during peak times in public transport or when shopping, and during your holidays, you want free spaces. And in addition, this is the chance for travel agencies to operators and tourist offices. It is a complex world, and therefore there will be a strong need for orientation, counseling and information. What the guests need are reliable informations, confidence-building security and competent partners. Now, let us turn to the markets, or the question when the markets will open again. It's not surprising that springtime is exclusively for the Swiss. But towards the summer, then the Europeans living close to the border will hopefully come back. First, the ones who will arrive by train and by car, which is less problematic, and then the rest of the Europeans traveling by plane on the more tolerable short distance flights. In the late summer and in autumn, we will again have American and Asian guests, but to a lesser volume. But if I look at the progress that was made with the vaccination campaign in the US, this leads me to think that there will be a positive result of this, and also for long-distance flights. This change of behavior will lead us to the fact that we forecast also changes in travel behavior. Sometimes it is also wishful thinking or idealism, but I do not think that the international tourist traffic in the long term will suffer from tectonic shifts. There will certainly be changes, a smaller percentage, maybe a few less percentages for the distant markets and a few more for the closer markets. But in the long run, this will even out. There will be 45% Swiss, 35% proximity markets, and 20% more distant markets. Everywhere? No, because up to now we spoke about leisure travel. And what about business tourism? It ticks differently, as we know. Of course, after the high vaccination coverage and the restart of international travel, there will be again business trips and events. But for a long time, the number of interactions will not be at the same level. The reasons are known. Video calls are being used by everybody in all the offices, and Bill Gates foresees pessimistically worldwide a minus of 50%. For me, this is a bit too much, and probably the new volume will even out between 70 and 80% compared to 2019. This hurts, but I think we can live with it. And now for business tourism, there are three strategies and options. First of all, it is the absorption strategy. The attractivity of Swiss business events is absolutely intact, has not been lost. The seminar and congress infrastructure is modern, our hotels are excellent, and now we want to stay in the market, make headway with the digitalization, and to convince in this competitive market, which means strong marketing. The second option for our strategy is the adaptation strategy. Flexible adaptation, the new situation, becomes the new key discipline. That is being equipped technologically. It means big rooms for smaller groups. It means new events that could have been too small for a small Switzerland, but now it's different. And then there's the third option, which is the withdrawal strategy. I hope that there are only few who will use this strategy, but some cannot do otherwise, but use the orderly withdrawal. In Germany, for instance, at the moment, there are already the first online distributors buying trade fair halls that are no longer used and using them as warehouses. In the Nordic countries, hotels are being used as senior residences or co-living homes. Swiss tourism, I can assure you, is betting on the absorption strategy. We'll do everything we can to win against our competitors. Now, at the moment, the situation is rather dark and without perspectives as far as this branch is concerned. But Winston Churchill said already, never let a good crisis go to waste. And he was right. All things will disappear and new things will appear. And we should not cry over these business trips that we've lost, but rather look forward for two reasons, because also in business trips there is a backlog, because companies and suppliers have not met their customers for more than a year. And networks by Zoom does not work, and negotiations or delicate talks are more promising face to face. But there are also new elements. For instance, the home office or working from home could fuel business tourism in a new way. If the teams in the future will not meet at the place of work, then their meetings will be held in seminar hotels. This is much more favorable and flexible and better than using the offices, which are no longer used permanently. And then, with the restart of international travel, the cities will be alive again and busier, and there will be business trips, but the competitors are not sleeping, and we have to make our efforts. We are well equipped. Only for the recovery plan 2021 for the international marketing, 18 million Swiss francs are available. In 2020, the focus was on Switzerland. In 2021, it is the foreign markets. Our task is to keep the touristic Switzerland in the heads of our international guests. And it is the work of our markets and subsidiaries, which is more important than ever. And you can be sure that ST will not close one single office like many of our competitors do. On the contrary, in the medium term, it is even possible for us to extend the number of touch points on the markets, because the markets are there for 365 days in the year to assure the touristic presence at the customers. Our marketing powerhouse is full with strong and creative campaigns. We are ready, and we want the industry to be ready. And now I want to conclude my part with an urgent appeal to the industry. In order to be well prepared for the time after Corona, I think there are three disciplines which are pertinent. In other words, these three muscles are the ones you should train and exercise a lot in order to be fit and well prepared for the future. Now, it is convenient. You have to be convenient. You have to be sustainable in Switzerland and more beautiful. Touristic Switzerland has to be more beautiful. Now let's look at these three elements. Holidays in Switzerland, unfortunately, are not as simple, pleasant, and convenient as they should be in 2021. Therefore, I ask you to do everything you can to make the trip and the stay as convenient as possible. For this, we can use the progress of digitalization. On the basis of COVID-19, it was accelerated already. Now use this opportunity because it is worthwhile investing into digital services. That is online reservations of events, excursions, restaurants, or even meals, redirecting the flow of the guests and reserve advanced skiing equipment tickets, virtual queuing, etc. The second point, sustainability. With Swisstainable, we have created a movement which obliges us as a branch to be careful with our natural resources. Sustainable tourism is not an ideology. It's not a trend or a tendency. On the contrary, it is a criterion for exclusion. And it's not up to us to decide, but the guests. But do not worry. You can start relatively simple and become a professional. Letizia Elia will explain you how very soon. Now we come to the third point, which is dear to my heart. As a high-price country, we have to be careful for our radiance and style. And style is not a question of cost. Everybody can be elegant and chic. And aesthetics is a question of taste, okay, but it has to be appealing, and sometimes this is a problem for some people in the tourist industry. Therefore, my appeal to you, show your hotel, your cable car, your touristic offer, and your museum in the best light. Try to be full of style. This is my wish to the branch. Try to enhance the beauty and be more appealing with the highest possible aesthetic claim. We at Switzerland Tourism, we also want the highest aesthetic claim. Sometimes we manage to achieve this level. And with this, I give the floor to the George Clooney of Swiss tourism. He's traveled a lot, he's wise, he's full of knowledge. Urs Eberhard.
Danke, Martin. Wir sind bereit, unsere Märkte
Well, thank you, Martin. Yes, we are ready. Our markets are taking up the central elements of this campaign, strengthen them and bring them at the right moment to the right target group. And we intensify our cooperation with the multipliers, the media, the incentive organizers, and the tourist industry. Because of loyalty, because if you stick with them in bad times, they will stay with you in good times. But also in order to have an updated view of the people we will cooperate with as soon as it restarts. Never before our presence in the markets was as important as in the present situation. Our teams locally live and breathe Switzerland. They use all their opportunities. From Zurich, this would not be possible. For this, you need people in the markets, having their ear on the market. We have 32 sites with 140 experts of the markets, always looking for opportunities, always looking for the goal. To have an office, a local office, not enough. You need people who are there 365 days per year, who hear, see and smell the market, feeling the developments and the trends, and who are as well connected so that are the first ones to know when it restarts. We have a team that wants to win, a team that wants to go to the goal, and a team that wants to see to it that guests from all over the world come to Switzerland. 10 of these strikers of our team I would like to present to you. Fabian, where are you? Looks good where you are. Yes, bom dia from Brazil. I'm in Cotrojadão, which is called the Switzerland of Brazil, and this is our location for our Switzerland Travel Experience 2021. Close to nature, close to Brazilian heart. We are looking forward to have you here in October. Good evening, Sarah. What about Tokyo? Hello to everybody from Japan. People are really looking forward to travel soon to Switzerland. Buongiorno, Christina. You're standing on ice. It's still winter in Milan? No, this is our ice rink. Not in Interlaken, but in Milano, because the Italians cannot travel yet. Therefore, we bring a part of Switzerland to them. When all of a sudden the borders opened and it was possible to travel and ski resorts were tempting, this was the hour for the market of Poland. 2 of these 4 guests on the chairlifts came from Poland. Our small team in Poland has pulled out all the stops, and finally in January and February they managed, as the only market, to have an increase of hotel nights. More than 65% more hotel nights were reserved for Poland compared to the same period of last year. Now, let's ask Adriana how she was able to do this. Hello. In fact, we contributed to this. We invited 2 operators to Switzerland, signed business plans with them, which meant 26,000 additional hotel nights. And there are 60 more tour operators, including Switzerland programs, some are new programs, whiskey clubs, and courses for children, and also online and offline meetings which we organized, and 70 tour operators participated and 40 journalists. We also invited influencers to Switzerland. Some of them are very well-known journalists like Philipp Reiser with 1 million contacts on his social media, and a competition about Switzerland which was organized, and altogether 5 million contacts that were made. Our digital campaign with some display activities, weekends, Facebook promotions brought us 51 million views, and in the first quarter more than 140% of visits And all of this in 2 months. That was possible to implement this in 2 months. Thank you very much, Adriana. These are the chances we have to seize in all the markets, more than 3,500 activities in all the markets per year. That means every third day, one activity in the average. And this gives us billions of contacts with the media and the marketing. I would like to show some of these activities to you now. Out of these 3,500, we start in China. Now, let's go to China. We have Baptiste there. Now ask him, how are you doing? And what is happening in Beijing? Well, thank you. I'm good. Here in China, we are back to normal. We have to be back on the markets to make some noise for Switzerland. We have just finished the ski season and we are very active here with meetings and cultural activities. And in summer, we'll start to work with a new community, the trail runners in China. Now you're welcome to join our activities in China. Well, thank you very much, Baptiste. If we want our guests to stay longer, to discover new regions and to travel at different seasons, then the community marketing is the right instrument, in particular in China. We have 3 communities that were defined, of which we know that they have like-minded people in Switzerland and the corresponding events. These 3 communities are in winter, the ski and snowboard community, in summer, the trail runners, and in the urban area, it is the music community for contemporary arts and music. For each of these communities, we have defined reference persons, personalities enjoying a cult status in the community, and they can motivate their fans and followers and to make them travel to Switzerland. Now let's go to Australia. This summer there will be a festival. Livio, can you hear us and tell us what will happen? Yes, hello everyone. We don't have a lot of snow here. Therefore we decided to have the Bondi Beach Winter Festival, which is very popular. And we hope to get many Australians to book their next winter holidays in Switzerland. But Urs, I show you a few pictures. Okay, well, we are going towards the summer. In a few months and weeks, there will be winter in Australia, not deep winter, but enough to celebrate the Bondi Beach Winter Festival. For 17 days, more than 130,000 visitors are expected. Switzerland will be the heartpiece of the festival, that is the ice rink, operate the ice rink. And we'll project pictures from Switzerland on the ice. There will be specialties which we serve at the chalet and in the ice bar, and the tour operators will make special Swiss packages that can be reserved on the spot, and Switzerland chill-out zones will invite the cool Aussies to dream of their next winter holidays in Switzerland. Now, let's go to our neighbors, the French. Now, Gilles, can you explain to us what is the present situation in Paris? Yes, hello. We are here in Paris and there are few tourists, but I can assure you that the people want to travel. These were the last results that showed us that we really have a card to play. One of these cards that we want to play is Mike Horn. Mike Horn is an icon in France. He is the embodiment of adventure and activities in nature. Last summer he was in Switzerland, has produced 5 films, and starting from June they will be played in France. Here is a short trailer.
Diese 5 Filme werden ab Juni in Frankreich ausgespielt, und zwar auf den Plattformen von Mike Horn. Er hat 2 Millionen Fans.
Now, these 5 films will be shown in France on the platform of Mike Horn. He has 2 million followers on his channels like Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and on Switzerland.com. We'll have a landing page for him, and we expect 30 million marketing contacts and more than 1 million video views. Now let us cross the channel and go to England. Here we have Alex, and the British made good progress with the vaccination campaign. They are looking forward to travel internationally, and this should be possible starting on the 17th of May. This can be felt. Now, what are the plans you have for the summer in Great Britain, Alex? Hello. It's a splendid afternoon here in London, changing the long, cold winter. There are many beautiful gardens and parks here in the UK, and a few here in London. And the Brits are crazy about gardening. And many people want to travel. This is why this year we decided to have our own Switzerland garden at the Chelsea Flower Garden Show. It's called the Swiss Sanctuary, and we worked with the designer. We hope to see you there. Yes, the idea to this Swiss Sanctuary garden has relaxed him, but he is right. The British are really crazy about their gardens. There are dozens of television programs, magazines and websites, but also some top-class garden exhibitions, for instance, the Chelsea Flower Garden Show, which will take place in September. And we will be there with excellent show gardens, and the parks and the gardens in Switzerland will be advertised in the newspapers like House and Gardens and Gardens Illustrated, and the British will see that they need Switzerland if they want to see Edelweiss and alpine flowers. Now we go over the Atlantic to US, exactly to San Francisco, where we have Mirko. And also there, the vaccination campaign is progressing well. What is your situation, Mirko? Yes, good morning from sunny San Francisco. Indeed, vaccination is going very fast. We are combining the visuals like this wall, painted by a local San Francisco artist, and our summer campaign together with influencer and others, we keep Switzerland top of mind. Americans want to travel again, and with activations like this, we can be sure that Switzerland is part of the list. And what makes us positive is that the President of the European Commission, Ursula von der Leyen, a week ago in an interview to the New York Times, he said that vaccinated Americans from this summer onwards will be able to travel to Europe. This is a perfect timing for the summer campaign in the United States, where we see the films and photos of Callum Snape. Callum has 1 million followers on his platforms, and this excellent material will be shown on the social media, but also on the digital campaigns all over on portals like Travel and Leisure and the New York Times. Thanks to the good cooperation with Present Switzerland, we are representing 2 houses of Switzerland, one in our northern neighbor in Germany, in Stuttgart. Evelyn, what do you plan in the House of Switzerland? Hello, Urs. For our House of Switzerland in Stuttgart, we want to focus on local hobbies, to stress the high quality and the security standards of Switzerland, something that is highly appreciated by our German guests. Now, we can show the first plans of our house. This house, we will have the lounge, there will be a travel center with excellent media partnerships with Antenna One, which is a radio station, with the Media Stuttgart, also Burda, and the outdoor magazine Switzerland will be visible all over in the city, and there are many events for our network and final clients in our house in Stuttgart. And a spectacular presence, which we will also have at the World Expo in Dubai. Matthias, what is the highlight to be expected there? Salam alaikum. In Dubai, we are working on an emotional Swiss experience, emerging from the Swiss pavilion at the Expo in Dubai. Now imagine 40 degrees outside. You're standing in the queue. Now you come to the entrance of the Swiss pavilion. Now you go on a roller blind leading you through a tunnel. There is the cool air. You see beautiful pictures on both sides when you go through the thick, high fog. And all of a sudden you're above the fog and you see a beautiful, impressive mountain panorama. This is the wow effect, which is guaranteed. Moments that our guests will never forget, and they will see that in such a hot climate, you need Switzerland if you want to cool down. With this, we have finished our trip around the world. The world wants to travel again. The world will travel again. And we are ready. Our markets will use the opportunities and see to it that our country will stay top of mind on the wish list for traveling as soon as it restarts. We are fast. We will not hide and crawl under our desk, but act and make a difference. This, we go to the next part. And I welcome Letizia Elia for the next part. She will lead us to a new travel, a sustainable journey.
Danke, Urs. Ja, we are different. Unser Ziel ist klar und ambitioniert.
Thank you, Urs. Yes, we are different. Our goal is clear and ambitious. We want to become the most sustainable travel destination in the world and differentiate ourselves in the future through this global trend. To achieve this goal, we have a whole lot of trump cards, but we do need a clear strategy on how to achieve this together as the entire Swiss tourism industry. The answer is, of course, Swisstainable. Swisstainable stands for a sustainable strategy typical of Switzerland that is intended to take us where we belong, to the top. By merging the two terms Swiss and sustainable, we are signaling something independent and, above all, not interchangeable. We are launching at exactly the right time because we live in the age of sustainability, and the pandemic has further strengthened the desire for authentic experiences, closeness to nature and prudent consumption, smart consumption. Swisstainable is more than a project or a campaign. With Swisstainable, we want to start a movement that is going to include the whole of the Swiss tourism. Everyone should be able to contribute to the sustainable development of Switzerland as a tourist destination, because sustainability is the DNA of Switzerland as a tourist destination, and we would like to show this to the world.
We've traveled over land, water, and through the air with fire in our hearts. We used to travel to arrive. Now we travel for its own sake. Here in Switzerland, we've created endless hiking trails, spectacular bridges, and built cable cars that reach the highest peaks. We've always cared deeply for nature. Our love for nature is in our DNA. Sustainable travel comes naturally to us. What others see as a distant goal, for us, comes as standard. It's time to give this standard a name. We call it Swisstainable. Sustainable stands for excellence. Sustainable serves as a blueprint because we know that when nature is left untouched, the more it can touch us. And that's something worth preserving for generations to come. It's time for a new way of traveling. Over land and water, through the air, with plenty of fire in our hearts.
Aber was heißt dies konkret? Sustainable wird ein Fokusthema all unserer Kampagnen.
What does this mean in concrete terms? Sustainable is going to be the focus of all our campaigns.
Kurzfristig, sondern über die nächsten Jahre hinweg.
Spring, summer, autumn and winter and business events. Not just on short run, but over the next few years. We will soon start the rollout on the Swiss market. After that, we will also roll out on the international market because our people in the marketing confirm it to us again and again. The demand for more conscious travel is increasing. For instance, Benelux, what does it look like there? Good afternoon. Sustainability gets more and more important in the Benelux and the other countries, and sustainability receives an increasing demand and attention, and Switzerland has a high potential. We, with sustainability, have the right offer for customers from the Benelux countries.
Haben wir unterschiedlichste internationale Kooperationen abgeschlossen.
Besides our usual market power, we have different international cooperations that were concluded. For instance, a partnership with National Geographic, which will show a very nature-savvy target group the advantages of Switzerland with our unique imagery, as well as the exclusive sustainability partner of the Adventure Travel Trade Association, which will ensure that our message is also perceived as a sensation in the B2B world. We rely on impressive storytelling because no one can get the message across more authentically than the travelers who have done it. We are showing our clients how sustainable Switzerland is. We rely on this storytelling because the best storytellers are the travelers who have found their inspiration and energy in Switzerland. In order to carry all these messages out into the world, we naturally also use our digital leadership. We want to inspire, inform and convince our guests. In order to do that, we're going to create a hub on My Switzerland, and one part of this is the new experience platform, which will not only show the diversity of Switzerland as a sustainable destination, but will also ensure that sustainability in tourism be tangible and easy to book throughout Switzerland. More than 350 concrete experiences have already been collected, from yoga in the forest, in the Thurgau, up to sustainable summer camp for kids in Lugano. All of these offers can be booked very simply by just 3 clicks. And the journey or the is going to be not only environmentally friendly thanks to the new summer general abonnement, but also attractively priced. We are going to communicate sustainability in a refreshing way, not as something that we must renunciate to, but always as something that's going to make us richer. We want to enjoy nature closely and in an original way. We want to experience local culture authentically, consume regionally, locally, and for staying longer and dive deeper. An essential part of this strategy is the Sustainable Sustainability Program, which is which means that the entire industry can participate in it. It is not a new certification, but it offers an orientation or direction for the guests. The 3 levels were developed by independent experts, showing whether the sustainable development of are on different levels, if they're at the beginning of the certification or have already achieved the desired level. To date, 220 businesses from a wide range of touristic sectors have already joined us, and more come to this. The added value for the organizations and companies is big. For instance, the Hotel Valsana, which in addition to their personal conviction also sees the economic potential of sustainability, or the Ferrovia Montegenevoso, who want to develop as a business and inspire their own branch, or the Crown Plaza in Geneva, which would like to contribute to the sustainable development of Switzerland as well, to its own attractiveness on the employers' market. Sustainable is close to my personal heart. I've been able to travel to many corners of the world and enjoy the beauty of their nature. As a young mother to a son, I feel a great responsibility, and I do desire that future generations can experience our wonderful nature and the diverse culture of our country in its original form, which is why I address this call on to you. You too become Swisstainable.
Jetzt übergebe ich an meinen Kollegen André Hefti. Es wird richtig laut.
And now I'm going to pass the floor to my colleague André Hefti.
Danke, Letizia.
It's going to be loud.
Grüezi miteinander. Die Reisedestination
Thank you,
Schweiz
Letizia.
muss sich aus der größten Krise
Good
seit
afternoon.
dem Zweiten Weltkrieg herauskämpfen. Am Horizont sehen wir Licht, ein Ende
Switzerland
der Pandemie
as a
ist
travel
hoffentlich absehbar.
destination has
Schon
got
bald
to
stehen wir wieder in Konkurrenz
lift
mit unzähligen
or
Reisendestinationen,
recover after the biggest
die die
challenge ever.
Aufmerksamkeit
But
der
we
Gäste
can see
kämpfen.
a light at the end of the tunnel, and soon we're going to be able to face our competitors again.
Ein speziell starkes,
A small
mutiges
country
und
like
vor allem
Switzerland has to
lautes
put in the
Programm.
extra effort
Die
and needs
Reisedestination
especially
Schweiz
strong,
steht für
courageous and
maximale
above all,
Erholung.
loud
Unser Land
program.
gibt Besuchern Energie.
Switzerland as a travel destination stands for maximum relaxation. Our country gives visitors energy, whether it's during a hike in the mountains, a museum visit, a city trip, or a business meeting. Our guests come back home feeling fresh and refreshed. If you want to relax, if you really want to move back into your routine full of energy, then they need more than a holiday. Then they need Switzerland. And this is where the values that Switzerland represents as a tourist destination more relevant now than ever before.
Sicherheit,
Reliability,
das Ursprüngliche haben an Bedeutung
safety,
gewonnen. Selbst wenn die
and
Pandemie
the
noch
heritage
nicht ausgestanden ist,
have
hat
gained
die
in
Schweiz
importance.
mit genau diesen Stärken einen enormen
Even if we're not done yet
Wettbewerbsvorteil.
with the pandemic, Switzerland has the exact strength which will give it an advantage over its competitors. We have a world-class product and can find our way out of the crisis strengthened. We can be self-confident and be confident in the future. We are convinced that Switzerland is in a strong tradition and that our marketing activities will contribute. We have launched a new advertising, hashtag I Need Switzerland, in the pandemic year and have already successfully established it. In many of our markets, our campaigns already have had a positive impact. Now we need to take this to the next level. Together with you, our value partners, we have put together an incredible program for the coming weeks and months. Some of the highlights of which we're particularly proud here is what I'd like to show you here. Our activities are aimed specifically at different target groups. One of the most important target groups which we would like to specifically address this year is women. We have two programs for you today, because 80% or 4 out of 5 travel decisions are made by women, according to a study done by Forbes. And this regardless of who they're traveling with, where they are going, or who is paying. My family, so my 4 women and myself, are the living proof. of the statistics that never lie. And that's the very reason why on the 8th of March, the World Women's Day, we launched the 100% Women campaign. More than 200 activities created by women and for women have been prepared and made accessible on our website. From outdoor to wellness to gastronomic experiences, no wishes remain unfulfilled. And all of these activities are going to be accompanied by women guides. Women must feel at ease. In order to enhance the attention given by the media, we have launched a peak challenge. In 2021, all 4,000 peaks in Switzerland, 4,000-meter peaks in Switzerland are to be climbed by all women teams. 48 summits will have to be climbed between mid-March until mid-September. That smells like a world record. Many women from the country and from abroad have already been on the road and registered. And 17 summits have already been climbed after intense preparation. We have seen women from Germany, Great Britain, Italy, and even Austria up to Saudi Arabia. We are particularly happy that we can also see some celebrities at the start. At the very forefront, Beatrice Egli, who has announced her commitment in the German and Swiss press. She is going to fulfill a lifelong dream and climb the Matterhorn. We have received today the commitment of yet another celebrity directly from the show stage to the 4,000 peak. Ciao, Michelle!
Volevo ringraziarti tantissimo e dirti che non vedo l'ora di esserci in questa Swiss Peak Challenge. Lo sai quanto mi piace arrampicarmi e quindi farò una cordata tutta al femminile. Alla grande, non vedo l'ora. Un bacio grande, ciao!
Grazie, Michel. Und für diejenigen, die sich jetzt Sorgen machen, wir werden sie passend ausrüsten und
Thank you, Michelle.
vorbereiten.
And for those who worry,
Liebe Zuschauerinnen,
we are going to
wenn Sie sich
equip
fit
her
fühlen,
and
machen
help her
auch Sie
prepare.
mit und werden Sie Teil dieses einmaligen
Dear viewers,
Erlebnisses.
if you feel fit,
We
join
need
us
female power.
and become
We need
part of this
Switzerland.
unique achievement and experience.
Wir bleiben bei der
We
Zielgruppe
need
der Frauen.
female power,
Während
we
sich
need
100%
Switzerland.
Women vor allem auf Outdoor-Aktivitäten
We
fokussiert,
will stay with the
setzt
target
unsere
group of
nächste
women,
Aktivität die Städte
while
in Scheinwerfer
100%
ist.
women focuses mainly
Städte
on outdoor
wurden von der
activities.
Pandemie
Our next
am
initiative
härtesten
puts the
getroffen
spotlight on
und
the
brauchen nun
cities.
besonders starke Unterstützung.
Cities have been
Unsere
hit
Städte
hardest by
bieten
the pandemic,
einzigartige,
and
naturnahe
they need our
Boutique-Erlebnisse.
strong support.
Wir
Our cities
thematisieren den
offer
coolen Citytrip
boutique
und nutzen die
experience
Gunst
which are
der
also
Stunde.
close to nature. We
Anlehnung
are
an die
going
dieses Jahr
to
wiederbelebte
make the
Kunstserie
city trip a
lancieren wir
different a
Sex
theme
in
and
the City.
seize the
Wir
opportunity.
feiern das Girls Weekend.
We are therefore
In diesen
launching
Tagen
6 in the
produzieren wir
city.
einen Filmtrailer
We're
zu
going
einem
to
Film,
celebrate the
den es
Girls'
nie
Weekend.
geben wird. Wir zeigen die
During-
besten Szenen
Right now
aus
we are
einem
producing a film
Städteabenteuer
trailer for a
und
film
regen
that's
dazu
never
an,
going to
die
exist.
Schweizer
We will
Städte
show you the
zu
best
entdecken.
scenes from a city trip
Wir machen
adventure.
Lust auf einen
And
Städtetrip
we're
und zeigen
going to
Erlebnisse
inspire
auf
you
unserer
to
Webseite.
discover our Swiss
Wir
cities.
lassen nichts aus.
This trailer
Kultur in
is
Basel,
going to make you
Shopping-
want to come
Shopping in der
visit
Altstadt von
and
Bern,
is going to be on
die
our
City Beach
marketing
in Genf
website. We are not
oder
missing
eine
out on
Food and Wine
anything.
Tour in
Swimming in the
Lugano
Rhine,
und
the City
vieles,
Beach in
vieles mehr.
Geneva, food
Die
and
Kampagne
wine tour in
fahren wir mit
Lugano,
Fokus
and
auf
many,
Deutschland,
many others.
Frankreich, Italien, Holland
The
und
campaign
Großbritannien.
is going to be aimed
Und
at
wenn wir
Germany,
schon bei den
France,
Städten sind,
Italy,
letztes Jahr haben wir
Holland
unsere
and Great
Magazinreihe
Britain.
völlig neu
And
gestaltet.
since we're already
Die
talking
Schweiz
about
zum
cities,
Anfassen.
last
Wir
year
konnten
we had
über
launched
1,5 Millionen Exemplare
relaunched our
weltweit
magazine,
distribuieren.
Switzerland
Besonders gut angekommen
at the tip
ist
of your
dabei das
finger.
Städtemagazin.
We were able to
Deshalb
distribute
werden
more than
dieses Jahr
1.5 million of
weitere
these
Ausgabe
magazines. The City
veröffentlichen.
magazine was particularly
Alles unter dem
popular,
Motto,
which
10.000
is why
Schritte
we
in
are going
Schweizer
to
Städten.
relaunch it again this year.
We
The
need
motto
a city
is
trip.
10,000
We need
steps in a Swiss
Switzerland.
city.
Nächstes Highlight. Die
We
Grand
need a
Tour
city
of
trip.
Switzerland.
We need
Auf dem
Switzerland.
schönsten Roadtrip der Alpen lassen sich
Next
die
highlight,
vielfältigen Angebote
the
auf
Grand
kleinem
Tour of
Raum
Switzerland,
ideal verbinden.
the most
Das
beautiful
Touring-Segment
road
hat in
trip
den
of
vergangenen
the
Jahren
Alps,
zunehmend
which
an
is
Beliebtheit
where
gewonnen. Durch die Pandemie
you can link
hat
the
sich das
different
Interesse noch
experiences
verstärkt.
together.
Der
The
Roadtrip
touring
im
segment
eigenen
has become
Fahrzeug
increasingly
ist so populär
popular
wie
recently and was
zuvor.
further fueled by the
Ob mit
pandemic.
dem TÜV oder
The
Auto,
road trip with your
immer
own
öfters auch elektrisch,
vehicle becoming more popular than ever
einfach
before,
und
whether by
unkompliziert,
motorbike or car,
oder jetzt
more and
neu,
more also electrically,
exklusiv und luxuriös
simply
auf der
with the
Grand Tour
camper
Deluxe.
or
Die Möglichkeiten
exclusively
sind
and
unendlich
luxurious,
und sehr
the
individuell
Grand Tour
gestaltbar.
Deluxe.
Das große Interesse an der
The
Grand Tour zeigt
possibilities
sich an
are
allen
endless
Aktivitäten
and
in den
extremely
Märkten, die wir für
personalizable.
dieses Jahr geplant haben.
The major interest of this Grand Tour is seen in all the activities on the markets that we have planned for this year. Because with our partners, we have so many activities, as many activities in our program than never before. The Grand Tour also offers the opportunity to make up for all the holidays that were missed because of Corona, and this within very short timing. Skiing on a glacier, bathing in the sun, and combining this with a shopping trip in the city and enjoying your aperitif at the lakeside is something that can be easily linked and experienced on the Grand Tour. Many guests share their experiences with their friends, and that's how they become the best advertisers for the Grand Tour. The photo spots enjoy great popularity on social media. A lot of celebrities have started out and allowed themselves to be inspired by the Grand Tour. One of them has even written a song about this. And I'm very happy to welcome Bastian Baker with his new song Jackpot.
Guten Nachmittag zusammen. Ich hoffe, es geht euch alle gut und ich wünsche euch alle einen schönen Ferientag.
Good afternoon. I hope you're doing well. And I wish you all a beautiful vacation day. Here's my song Jackpot.
Don't slow down till you know you found what you want, who you are, where you want to be at in your life. I'd like a grand tour of what's out there. I'd like to live like I don't care for once. Take a right or take a left, you'll end up in the perfect place. Ain't no wrong way when you've got time. Whoa, the streets are mine. Drive alone or take some friends. See the roads never ends when your eyes start tearing up. Whoa, you win the jackpot. You win the jackpot. Look up and look down. In fact, look all around. Feel the heat, hear the sound of the church bells of that little town as the sun goes down on a million grapevines. I like the shadows from the trees. I like the colors in the breeze. Oh no, take a right or take a left, end up in the perfect place. Ain't no wrong way when you've got time. Whoa, the streets are mine. Drive alone or take some friends. See the roads never ends when your eyes start tearing up. Whoa, you win the jackpot. You win the jackpot. You win the jackpot. You win the jackpot. I like a grand tour of what's out there. I like to live like I don't care. Take a right, take a left, end up in the perfect place. Ain't no wrong way when you've got time. Whoa, the streets are mine. Drive alone or take some friends. See the roads never ends when your eyes start tearing up. Whoa, you win the jackpot. You win the jackpot. You win the jackpot. You win the jackpot. The jackpot.
Salut Bastien.
Hello, Bastien. Welcome to the vacation day, and thank you for this amazing song that really makes one want to take off and discover the Grand Tour. But that's where I wrote it. I hope you know it. I did the Grand Tour for 2 days with my motorbike, and that's when I had the idea for that song. And why that song, Jackpot, that name? Because that's how I felt. That was really the word in my mind when I was traveling. It's the amazing luck that I have to be born here and to be able to see all of this. So to me, that was really the word. It's my jackpot. I think you probably have friends from all over the world who come to visit. What are your favorite spots? It's true that I have a lot of visitors from all corners of the world, but one part that I particularly like is the Route de la Corniche near Lavaux, which is just the perfect motorbiking road. It's a perfect view, perfect path. And all of my friends have their individual reaction to this beauty. Some are really moved by it. I've even seen tears. It's a unique spot. It's something that's really exceptional. I think I know which one you're talking about. Is there a spot in Switzerland which you haven't visited yet, but you would like to? Oh, there's a lot of places that I do not know yet, but thanks to my music in the last 10 years, I was able to visit a lot of Switzerland. And you've got to help me here. You need to tell me about your favorite spot and give me an idea on where I want to go visit this summer. Okay, once we're done here, we'll have a chat and I'll give you some ideas. Thank you so much for having been here with us and share that new song and play it in front of all of us. Thank you. Thank you. Goodbye. We need a road trip. We need Switzerland. Bastian Baker is going to play his song again at the end of this live streaming. Please vote for which song you'd like to hear from him. Special times require special measures, which is why we have a new brand ambassador who is going to help us. Roger. He is the best possible brand ambassador that Switzerland has ever had and probably is going to have. We're incredibly proud of the fact that he is going to officially commit to helping Swiss tourism. Just the announcement of this partnership has generated as much attention, much more attention than Swiss tourism has ever known. We have seen more than 1.4 billion views in international media, and we're able to record that amount of contacts. Through the social network of Rogers, we have reached the best, record values thanks to this partnership. Allow me this comparison when I post something, and here is when Roger posts something. We are going to be working with Roger beyond the end of his tennis career because he represents amazing values and together we're building a strong team. Our partnership is based on the fact that Roger is going to invest his energy, is using or is receiving his energy thanks to the Swiss countryside, to nature. When Roger needs nature, he goes to Switzerland, which is where he's going to help us lift the I Need Switzerland motto to a different level and to bring positive attention to our amazing offers. Through the coming months and years, we have a lot of projects. An amazing collaboration, of course, has to kick off with a highlight. Little time ago, Swiss Tourism and Roger Federer have launched this teaser.
Hello. Und die ganze Welt fragt sich nun,
and the whole world wonders now, who's calling?
Ist es A?
Is it A, the President of the Federal Council, Guy Parmelin, who wants to take private tennis lessons? B? Is it Mirka? She needs to pass her shopping list. Or C, Robert De Niro with bad news?
Sie können jetzt abstimmen.
You can vote now.
In den Märkten werden wir den Gästen in den kommenden
On the
Wochen und
markets,
Monaten einige weitere Aktivitäten
we
und
are
Geschichten präsentieren.
going to present different activities and stories through different channels and posters. Roger is going to talk to our guests through tennis while showing the amazing beauty and diversity of our country. And this is how Roger invites the guests to discover Roger's choice. On the website myswitzerland.com/Roger, he is going to present new experiences and spots that he enjoys or things that are still on his bucket list. Such an amazing partnership needs a big stage. A few activities were already organized, as you see it here on Piccadilly Circus in London, where we are occupying the biggest billboard of Europe. Other such measures are going to be taken all over Europe as well as in the United States and Asia. So, who called? A few minutes ago we've asked that question. Who has rung Roger? And here are the results. And in your opinion, it seems pretty obvious. We are incredibly proud to show you the world first premiere to an amazing film that's going to write history. Ladies and gentlemen, we are ready to bring guests back into Switzerland because whoever needs more than holidays needs Switzerland. And no, the answer is no. It's not Mirka who called.
Hey, Bob, how you doing?
Hey, Roger, how are you?
I'm just relaxing in the Swiss Alps. Take a look.
Yeah, it's good for you. Listen, about the Switzerland film you want me to do?
Yeah, did you see the boot film I sent you?
I'm watching it as we speak. I don't like it.
What?
Just look at where you are, Roger. I mean, you got your mountains, your skiing resorts, your charming little towns, your green valleys. There's no drama. No drama at all.
Seriously? But did you see the bits with the sunset?
Roger, from a certain type of actor, I need an edge, conflict, jeopardy. Switzerland is just too perfect.
Yeah, I guess you're right.
That's exactly what I'm talking about. You guys are too nice. You should have said, fuck you.
Okay, listen. How about the two of us on this special mission? We ski down the slope.
What, skiing down the slope together?
We go even skydiving.
Come on.
Then we land on these fields and the cows are grassing.
Roger, I have to be honest with you. It's not happening.
Nah.
Sorry, Roger. Maybe call Hanks.
Who?
Well, who had thought this, that we managed to bring Robert on board after Roger? We are really proud and happy, but extraordinary times require extraordinary recipes. And since Hollywood stars and tennis tracks become tourist experts, it is time to reverse our roles. That was it. Vacation Day 2021, dear colleagues. Please take home the following messages. The state and the government recognize the importance of tourism, will continue to help us and support us. It is excellent. The markets are ready and waiting like crouching tigers, lie in wait, and the sustainable era has started. And you decide how big this movement will be. Now, imagine a movie with the following casting: Roger Federer, Michel Hunziker, Mike Horn, Beatrice Egli, Bastian Baker, and Robert De Niro. These are the main actors in our tourism marketing blockbuster 2021. And you, dear colleagues, you are sitting in the first row. Thank you very much for giving your time and for the good cooperation all year round. The whole ST team is looking forward to continue to work with you, and together we will be able to shape the future of tourism. And do not miss the e-trainings for tomorrow. There are 55 seminars that make you even more fit for the future. And now we will show you the questions, and just wait a few seconds. In the meantime, you can write your questions at Switzerland.com or in the comments box. And here we are back already. And now you can raise your questions. We are available and try to answer. I have the competent help from my colleagues, Letizia, Andrea, and Urs. And now I ask you to raise your question. I see the first one is there already. The question is whether we are too optimistic as far as the future of Swiss tourism is concerned. I think we are very realistic. This year we have learned a lot, and I think we are able to evaluate the situation. And do not forget, we have the same activities in Switzerland and the same attractivity. Is a problem of demand. There was a shock. And just look last summer when we had no quarantine restrictions, how this worked for the mountain restrictions. Where if there's no physical barrier, people will travel again. Of course, there is still a backlog and many tasks to fulfill, but we are really confident. Now, what's the next question? Yes, sustainability and distant markers. How can we combine this? Letizia, maybe you can add. This is the question of sustainability and the distant markers. It's good to have a mixture of the market and the diversity and a good equilibrium. It's also important to know who comes from these distant markets to Switzerland and whether they use public transport inside of the country. Now, for me, there is no contradiction, but it's important to have a good mixture also in the future. Thank you very much, Letizia. Now we're waiting for the next question. What is the meaning of being present in markets like Brazil and India at the moment? Yes, it's absolutely useful to stay in these markets because we want to fuel the fire. And in Brazil and India, we are able to be present in the media, in the catalogs of the tourist operators. And I can assure you that Switzerland is very high on the wish list as soon as people can travel again. Thank you, Urs. Urs believes in the market. What can I do to contact Roger Federer via ST? Well, Andre, do you have his number? No, I don't have the number. And if I had it, I could not share it. It is clear. This is secret. We have a contract like other partners with Roger and defining exactly what we are able to do and what we cannot do. And the answer is no, we cannot help you. Sorry, it's not possible. The next question. More information about the Adventure Sustainable event in Lugano. It's planned for 2022, as Letizia said. Can you explain what it is? Yes. It's clear that we'll have it in 2022 in Lugano, and we will publish more information in our newsletter and on our branch website, and you will be informed as early as possible. Thank you. You've heard it. There are 800 purchasers and experts in the tourist industry who will come next year, and we are very proud to organize this sustainable summit in Switzerland. This will increase even more our credibility. And when can we download and start sharing the video on social media? You can watch it on social media immediately as of today. Andre, do you want to add something? How is it available? If we talk about the video with Roger, it has been available for the last 5 minutes. Please watch it and share it and spread the word. Will the Asian guests come back to Switzerland in big groups? Urs, what do you think? Will they come back in groups? Probably not in big groups. The tour operators tell us they will probably travel in smaller groups. They want more space. Open space is really a buzzword for the international tour operators. We are in close contact with them, and we know, as Letizia said before, they want to stay longer at one place and not go to 7 countries in 9 days, but rather longer, deeper, and more open spaces. Therefore, they will come, but with smaller groups. What is also a trend are families, several families with grandchildren, grandparents, or groups of friends who will travel, but not big groups traveling to 7 countries in 9 days. And if this should happen in our marketing efforts, we will certainly concentrate on the smaller groups, and if the others come, this will not be due to our activities. Now, what do you say about the quarantine prescriptions with Switzerland tourism? I can answer. The quarantine is the killer for tourism, number one. They make our life difficult, these restrictions. And tomorrow, with the Tourism Alliance, we will speak to the Federal Council. We want the quarantine restrictions for those who are tested and vaccinated and can prove their good health should be cancelled as long as there is a quarantine. It is difficult to be successful in tourism. Together with others in tourism, we will try to fight for it, and also in other countries. The European Union has published a communication today saying that the freedom should be given now for people to travel, and we are happy about this. Urs, do you want to add something to it? Yes, yeah. These health passes or the green certificates is the IATA travel pass, common pass, and all these are instruments. If they can be read mutually, then it will be possible to travel again and also prove that you are tested or vaccinated digitally or also in an analog way. Here, a few publicity. Please try to get vaccinated. We will only get out of this difficult situation if we have as many people as possible who are vaccinated. And we, in the tourism industry, we are obliged to do this as well. Are there more questions? Well, if this is not the case, I would like to thank you. And now we are definitely at the end, and we are all tired. I hope you are a bit impressed and you've got new inspirations and impressions, and you can contact us at any time if you have a question. We are there for you. This is our job and our passion. Now, what we owe to you, because we have voted, you have expressed a wish, saying who and what you want to hear at the end, the SOC by Bastian Baker, and you voted for stay. Now with this I say goodbye and
Everything
stay
you
healthy.
say, every time you swear, every word you speak, every time reminds me that Monday night when the streets were cold and the lights were dead. You wanted to let go. And I need to find a way to say that I never meant to spin out of control. You're tired of staying up all night, stop trying to find a way to get back home. 'Cause you don't need to, just stay. Stay before I fall down, stay before I lose my head. Just stay. Stay until we're sober, and why don't you stay over? I want you to stay. Yeah, I want you to stay. Every time you smile, every time you shine, every single mile, every road just brings me back to you. And it's a Friday night and the music's loud, the streets are packed with fools tonight, but you are all that I see. I need to find a way to say that I never meant to spin out of control. You're tired of staying up all night, stop trying to find a way to get back home. 'Cause you don't need to, just stay. Stay before I fall down, stay before I lose my head. Just stay. Stay until we're sober, and why don't you stay over? I want you to stay. Yeah, I want you to stay. Just stay. Stay before I fall down, stay before I lose my head. Just stay. Stay